Morning, everybody. Great to be kicking this off. I want to thank Anatoly and the StrategEast team for pulling together an amazing panel. So great work. Thank you. I'm honored to be on the stage with you all. We're here to talk about global IT trends, but specifically we're going to talk about this region and where it sits within those IT trends, what accomplishments have happened, where we're heading, what are some of the barriers, and what are some of the things we can do to accelerate this region's participating in the global IT market. So again, I'm Steve Adelman. I've been working with international startups about 10, 12 years. I've mentored or coached over 1,000 startups in dozens of countries, helped governments around the world. I also run the accelerator for the Wharton School in San Francisco. And this is my first time in Kazakhstan. And thank you. It's been a wonderful, hospitable welcome. I'm going to ask everyone to introduce themselves. Minister, would you like to start with a quick introduction of yourself and your role? Maxime, you want to keep going? And I want to thank Maxime. I think he found out day before yesterday that he was on the panel, so thanks so much. Olga, would you like to introduce yourself and the role you played at Google?
Hi, hello, my name is Olga, and I have a pleasure of leading government affairs and public policy efforts at Google in this part of the world as part of the emerging markets region. Happy to be here today. Thank you.
Hey everyone, good morning. My name is Marvin. I'm an investor and I spend a lot of time investing all over the world at the pre-seed and seed stage level for startups, but I'm based in San Francisco.
All yours, Yury.
Hi everyone, my name is Yury Antaniuk. I am head EPAM in Central Eastern Europe. We're very happy to be in the region more than 15 years and I'm very happy to see you guys here today. Thank you for organizers Anatoly for this nice event and hope we will get mutual value out of these discussions. Thank you.
And Sveta.
Yeah. Good morning. Hello. My name is Svetlana. I'm managing director for HP company, and I'm very proud and delighted to represent my company here and to participate in such panel. And let me wish you all very good and productive day. And HP is here for 25 years almost. And today's discussion, I believe, would allow us to prove that HP is not only a printer and PC company, but much more above that.
So as you can tell, we have IT outsourcing companies who are active in the region. We have 2 of the global tech companies. And thank you, we also have the government. So we could have a very good conversation about different points of view on what's happening here in Central Asia. I'm going to start with Yury. If you could tell, so you mentioned EPAM is in the region. I checked LinkedIn day before yesterday, and EPAM has 130 job openings in Kazakhstan, which is just, that really surprised me. But tell me, what are you doing here? What are your successes?
So first of all, I really believe that a lot of nice companies joined Kazakhstan environment and ecosystem for this last years. So I am very happy to be together with the government representative and colleagues from technology, because definitely in some point of view we are competing on this market, but from some point of view we all looking how to develop the industry of Kazakhstan, how to reproduce our best examples we did in other part of the world, like in my case in the Eastern Europe, Central Europe, and how to make this very fast and very growing region successful on a global map. And we have this experience, as I said, and colleagues as well said, so I'm here to share this experience and probably to get some tips from local ground, how you guys see what we can do better in the region, and share our experience on the global markets, how we can bring best talents and join them with our clients across the globe and develop both internal and external markets, and look both on the services and on the product development, startups, and make better choices and make better combinations that we did in other regions. So this is very simple, and that's why I'm here.
Thanks, Yury. So, Maxim, with Exadel, you have the Here and Now program where you're hiring people across Central Asia and Azerbaijan to work virtually for Exadel. Talk to us a little bit about that, and what kind of skills are you finding in Central Asia?
In general, yes, we have, thank you for mentioning Here and There program. And tonight, it was our debut for Kazakhstan because we received the first hiring here. As a senior DevOps engineer was hired in Kazakhstan. And in general, we don't have here office yet. But what we see is a very good potential because we can find here full stack developers, Java developers, .NET developers. If we are talking about what is difficult to find, it's more about mobile, automation QA, and DevOps. And in scope of seniority level, I think it's what is general in the market. It's always difficult to find leads and architects. But in Kazakhstan, we're able to find senior and middle specialists. So yeah, in general, we have in place in Armenia, in Uzbekistan, in Turkey, in India. So yeah, program is working.
What are the biggest challenges that you're finding in this region compared to other regions where you're active?
I would say that it's the first issue is English proficiency. Sorry, I'm in L&D department and I have to say about that because it's a real big issue. Because we recently acquired a company in LATAM, and what we can see, for example, in comparison, that its clients are satisfied. No big difference in time zone, but we are able to sell only on the local market. We're not able to go outside. So that is why we have problems with English, I would say. So this is the first, I would say, point, yes, on which we need to focus on, and maybe it's a primary one for now.
We're not going to be able to change the time zone, but what challenges are you finding growing here in the Central Asian region versus, compared to the example, you helped grow EPAM in Ukraine from almost nothing to 15,000 people, was it?
Yep, and definitely I fully agree with Maxim about the vision, what we have, guys, but kind of like what we are doing here, it should be a little bit different what we were doing in other part of our world, because the region itself, countries around, and Kazakhstan specifically, has own culture. Its time zone, I don't think it's a big difference. I was kind of like surprised when flying here. It's almost the same as India. And in India, we have a lot of companies, millions of developers. So it's a well-developed location. So from time zone difference, it's probably kind of like small inconvenience to fly a little bit further, like Steve was doing 13 hours or so time difference. In my case, it's a 5-time difference right now. But I do believe that more challenges coming from an understanding of a global environment, how local teams and local talents can be combined in a general distributed teams working across the globe. It's definitely challenging from a language point of view. We typically speak in English. Sorry for this. It's kind of like a reality. And we have to admit that communication is a big part of our work. In spite we're all technical guys, we like programming, we like Java, .NET, cloud, all this stuff, but we still have to communicate with our clients. We have to understand their problems, needs, and this is sometimes even thinking in a kind of type of what people thinking in Silicon Valley, in Europe, in Asia, in Singapore, across the globe. So this is, from my point of view, is one of the challenges. Another one which I also look on my experience when we started to develop some new locations, like Steve mentions, I came to Ukraine, we didn't have people then, we grew, and we have 15,000, but it took 15 years. It's like a long period of time. And I believe right now you can do this faster because you have great young population growing like in a region, in Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, in other countries, much, much faster than in other regions across the globe. So questions how to speed up this. And from my point of view, one of the acceleration factor could be education. New type of education, which now is coming kind of like absolutely different than it was 20 years ago when we all were looking in a standard university. I came to Kiev or to Warsaw and we kind of like were contacting university, which programs, how we can a little bit change this. It took a long period of time. And now education is completely different. You can do online, you can join some American university or European university or Asian university. You can do life learning programs like 3 months, 6 months. You can teach kind of like with this ChatGPT, with all that stuff. So this is completely different. I do believe we have to look together in a region how to speed up our education and develop this. So this is just kind of like only few tips.
Let me build on. So Olga, I want you to introduce yourself and what Google is doing here, what you're planning here, and when Yury said education, obviously share what you're doing, what Google's doing in Kazakhstan and the region.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, indeed, we as Google, we don't have a local office here in the region in Central Asia or in the Caucasus, but we are present here with our products and tools and services that are loved by many million users. It's from search to Google Maps, YouTube, and BART, our recent AI-powered tool. So we are present with our products, and I want to highlight this because these products do bring value to the economy, they drive productivity, creators economy, etc. But we're also present here with some special programs that are designed for the region. And what we're doing essentially is that we are investing in the ecosystem because we believe that it takes ecosystem to be digitally drive economy, you need to have an ecosystem. So we are investing here in 3 meaningful ways, I think. The first one, really building developers ecosystem. And we do it, one of the ways we do it is through the so-called Google developers groups and Google student clubs. That's important infrastructure that we have in the region. Let me just share 2 figures. In Kazakhstan alone, we have 17 Google developers group, and in Uzbekistan alone, we have 18 Google student clubs. These groups are designed to actually bring together people, grow hard skills. Hard skills are important, but also grow soft skills. Help really people feel themselves as a community and then build better products and build better careers in tech. That's one way we are supporting local ecosystem. The second way is by supporting technological innovation and entrepreneurship. I won't go into too much details because in our yesterday's presentation, His Excellency First Deputy Minister spoke about our partnership with Silkway Accelerator with Asana Hub. But what I want to highlight is that this program allows us to drive and support startups, not only in Kazakhstan, but the program is based in Kazakhstan, but through the whole Central Asia, Caucasus, and even Mongolia. And we are very happy with the results. I think it's 55 startups that have already benefited from this program in just 1 year. And we are very happy with the results and economic results, that our alumni are showing. And the third way we are supporting local ecosystem is by investing in human capital. Just one example that I wanted to bring up and thank actually StrategEast that, put all of us on the stage here and organize this beautiful event. 6 weeks ago, we launched an educational program which we call IT Hub with the support of StrategEast and also with the support of Kazakhstani Ministry of Higher Education and Uzbekistani Ministry of Digital Transformation to upskill 1,500 students on AI, cloud, and machine learning. And I mentioned that we kicked off the learning path 6 weeks ago, and today we already have 1,500 people registered, ahead of time and going through the educational path. So in terms of what we see on the market, what I see is a really big demand for any knowledge. And the big theme of our forum today is knowledge is a new energy, and we have both here. Like this, the hunger, I would say, for the knowledge, and then the energy, the new energy of this young population of Central Asia. And the second thing that we also see is a very concerted effort on the part of the government to actually drive digital transformation. And at a broader level, I mentioned that, I'm part of, at Google, of emerging markets team, and we definitely look, for us, Kazakhstan and Central Asia and the Caucasus is part of these emerging markets champions. And we actually have, a term inside Google, a nickname, I would say, for these economies. We call them digital sprinters. I really love this term for 2 reasons, because I think it reflects, first, the progress that has been achieved already in terms of digital transformation of the developing economies, including Kazakhstan and Central Asia. And second, how much else can be achieved by driving digital transformation, using AI tools to really, drive economic growth and grow local skills and really improve the efficiency of the economy. We're talking a lot about IT industry, and I'll stop soon. I can see that you want me to stop. We're talking a lot about growing local IT industry, and a lot has been done. But also on the broader picture, what I think is important, kind of not to lose the broader picture, is that digital transformation can actually really transform, an AI-powered tool can really transform the entire economy, drive efficiency in what we call sometimes traditional sectors, from agriculture to healthcare, and extractive industries that are still important for Kazakhstan and Central Asia. And with this, I'll stop. I know Steve.
Thanks, Olga. Svetlana, talk to us about HP's presence in the region. 25 years is a long time. And what are your plans moving forward as far as HP's presence here?
Okay. Well, yeah, 25 years is quite a long, and I could hardly believe myself, because all this time I'm with HP here, almost from the very first day. So yeah, I've seen a lot and had a lot of experience in the region. I have a privilege of representing the global company here in our country, and having all this vast and wide experience of other countries across the world being implemented in Kazakhstan and other Central Asia regions. So we are not just providing our hardware to the customers, we are not just developing our partners, our business partner chain. We are also, at HP, we have the global strategy, global sustainability program, which is very, very, the subject, the topic that we talk a lot at all levels nowadays. So it's getting more and more important. So what we do in Kazakhstan in terms of sustainability, let me put it this way. We consider sustainability in 3 key pillars, like planet, people, and society. So here in Kazakhstan, since we don't have local production, we are more focusing on society and people. And first of all, the digital equity and digital education for the people and specialists in Kazakhstan and Central Asia. So what we've done so far and what we are planning to do, we've already implemented, and I'm really proud of it, we've already implemented 2 key platforms of HP in Kazakhstan and other countries. So first platform is HP Idea, which is basically the digital academy that allows to increase the digital literacy and skills in education area. So we've signed, within pandemic time, we've signed with the Ministry of Education in Kazakhstan, and we provided, absolutely free, we provided the 1-year course, educational course for more than 100 teachers of public schools of Kazakhstan, particularly on digital literacy and digital skills that allow them to drive the education within the pandemic time, within the changing environment. So that was the first round, and now our second round actually is close to graduation event, and now we have more than around 160 teachers, not only from the public schools, but from colleges as well. And you may say that 260 teachers, that's nothing for such a country, but the point is that those teachers trained and certified, they are now training and educating their colleagues. So they're spreading their skills and knowledge.
Great multiplier effect.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So that's the first thing. We've another platform that we are representing in our countries is HP Live, and that's online kind of business academy with a lot of free online courses that would allow people to organize their business startups, to improve their business skills in any areas, marketing, finance, be it whatever, you name it. So the HP Live was signed up with Astana International Financial Center first. Then we are also implementing it with the government of Turkmenistan, jointly with USAID under the DG Women project. So we are developing digital skills and helping to organize startups for women in Turkmenistan. We've signed up with the Ministry of Digital Development of Uzbekistan and already start implementing this platform. So Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan are going next. So
Excellent.
That's the key projects we are driving.
Cool, thank you. A lot going on. So my friend Marvin, he's my personal Where's Waldo. If I want to talk to Marvin, first I have to ping him and say, what country are you in this week? So many of you heard yesterday, he travels a lot, he invests everywhere. The question I want to pose to you, Marvin, based on your global perspective, what are the advantages you see here in this region that could be leveraged in the global IT marketplace?
Yeah, it's a good question. You know, what's interesting is, you know, how I talk a lot about where I trace like talent, where talent is going, right? Or where talent comes from. So for example, one of the things that you do, particularly in Silicon Valley, is you take a look at where the smartest people are actually working, right? So for example, like for crypto, it's like Coinbase people, and then you watch where they're going, they're doing startups. And, you know, I think I went to Uzbekistan for the first time last year. I've been coming out to Kazakhstan pretty much since well, it's been a while, but like I came out here 5-6 years ago, and I came out here probably about 7 or 8 times. And I think what's always interesting is you look at the demographics, lots of young people, very well educated. You also have this like program called the Bolishok program, is that right? Bolishok, right? Which is like where the government pays for the best and brightest to actually get educated, you know, in the US or UK or other places, and then they come back and do government service, and then many of them go into private service. A lot of the talent, it's interesting watching the trajectory of the talent. So I'm actually quite bullish about this, you know, about this region from a macro perspective, and watching the trajectory. So for example, I've heard companies like Clockster, looked at them back in 2018, 2019, they're focusing just on Kazakhstan. But then I found out like, wow, like they're actually growing like crazy in Indonesia. That's interesting. I wish I saw that earlier. Super smart founders, but at that time they were just focusing on Kazakhstan. I'm like, that market's not that interesting. That's one of the advantages. Super smart people, young population. But when you have a relatively small market, there's an opportunity to actually go sort of like regional or go global faster. That's sort of what we've seen in Israel. That's what we've seen in Estonia. That's what we've seen in relatively small countries of like, after you kind of grow in the local market, if the founders actually have ambition, they kind of go broader. And so that's actually where the magic happens.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I sort of see here.
Cool, thank you. Kanish, I'm sure you're used to hearing panels like this telling you everything the government could do better. We'll get there later in the program. But I want to turn that around and give you an opportunity. You've got IT outsourcing companies that are hiring here. You've got global high-tech companies that are helping with education and entrepreneurship and tech and developer ecosystem. What more, and investors, what more can we be doing to help both Kazakhstan and the region overall? It's your turn to tell us what we need to do.
Sorry, I hardly hear because
The echo?
we are sitting behind this system.
So
What we are doing in terms of...
No, not what are you doing. What should we be doing more of?
Okay. To attract more investments in tech companies.
Yeah, I don't know. You got
like abroad.
HP, Google,
Okay.
EPAM, Exadel,
All right.
Diaspora Ventures, two of us.
So we have our own strategy, and we are kind of focusing on developing our current innovation, I would say, not just IT ecosystem, because we are developing also Industry 4.0 directions like IoT, robotics, drones, and etc. We have, during my presentation yesterday, we are like focusing on 4 main elements to develop, and of course, key players, global players are crucial for Kazakhstan as well, and partnering with them is very important for Kazakhstan. So, and here I would like to mention that we launched several programs with our partners, also sitting here with us, and I think what needs to be done further is actually continuing what we are doing right now, and even right now the English language was mentioned, and I fully agree with that. This is kind of a bottleneck for now that we need to actually solve, despite the fact that we have this Bolashak program, and we do have a lot of graduates and alumni from this program that can freely speak English, but it's a very few number, and we have to start from schools, increase the number of lessons in English language. We need to boost and stimulate the growth of number of new schools, so that more younger generations would have this proficiency of English language. And I got surprised because we are ranked really below some even neighboring countries in terms of English language. That's for sure. In terms of regulation, I think this is a key point that we need to actually shift this towards the best international standards. Let's say clouding, the cloud-first policy, for instance. We need to adjust the legislation and make it more agile, so that our big cloud companies would be willing to partner with Kazakhstan, because we strongly believe that Kazakhstan can be a data hub region, a valley, due to our price in electricity, due to lower price in electricity, due to the climate conditions in Kazakhstan. It's naturally a good place for that. All is needed is just a legislation framework that needs to be modern and understandable. That's where we are working right now, and I think we can attract more investments here. And we're already in a discussion with all big tech companies, cloud companies. Most of them are even saying we don't need any offtake, just like give us the land, give us the infrastructure and the good legislation, that's it. And we will bring our clients. The money can come, technology may show up here as well. That's another point. And I think we should actually also take into account the global trends in terms of AI, in terms of emerging technologies. And Marvin made an amazing speech yesterday highlighting the actually trends in terms of technologies. We should take into consideration this. And we are working on AI's national strategy, and I hope we will release it up to the end of this year, and we have our mission on that. I fully agree with advantages that have been mentioned also here within the panel, and we should we should not stop there. We should work, and I think we have very good potential on export promotion. This is the program that we are polishing, and I think we see the trend of our startups going abroad, and it's not just 1, 2 startups. It's a really huge number that is growing every day, and we need to support this trend. And how we're going to do it, as I said yesterday, we do not classify either it is Kazakh startup, it is Uzbek or Kyrgyz startup. We are not saying anymore. So any startup. So we want to be an international hub for startups within this region. So all startups, all technology, all more talented people are welcome. This is what we are doing. And here I have to say another kind of obstacle that we need to solve in order to allow more people to come to Kazakhstan in terms of immigration processes, in terms of visa process. Look what Dubai did for the last 2-3 years. They announced 10 years visas. And they have this differentiation. If you are high qualified talent, then you will have low commissions to pay. If you are low qualified, you will be facing a lot of problems, so that it's not convenient for you to live anymore in Dubai, and you will get back to India or Pakistan. So this is what we have to think about to make this environment very comfortable on the global scale. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the trick, competing on a global scale, which, Olga, you mentioned yesterday that Google did a study of 126 countries and their readiness for digital transformation. What lessons can we learn here, and what did you see with the results with Kazakhstan and others in this region?
Thank you so much, Steve, for giving me opportunity to share the results of the study. Yeah, indeed. Last year, we released a Future Readiness Economic Index, FREI, we call it internally, for 120 plus countries of emerging economies, or digital printers, as we call them internally. And the results of this study, basically the study was about assessing the digital readiness of these economies. And the results for this part of the world, for Central Asia and the Caucasus, aggregated results, I would say, showed that this region has, I would say, advantage in terms of human capital and technological adoption, relatively in comparing to other benchmarks, which are emerging markets. And the areas for further investments were identified as infrastructure and actually legislation, or what we call competitive framework. I'm thankful that His Excellency First Deputy Minister mentioned the efforts on the regulatory side of things, and indeed many more steps would need to be done as we are kind of gradually stepping into this age of AI-driven digital transformation. And I would say that from the global perspective of a global company, what we want to see probably more in this part of the world is also alignment between the countries on the regulatory side of things, proportionate risk-based approach to regulation, cross-border data flow, because that's essential, absolutely essential for whether the cloud adoption or driving local development of AI tools, etc., etc. So we actually see that on a global level, we already see this is happening in some part of the world. For example, in Africa, at the level of African Union, there is a certain coordination going on the digital policies. We also see the same, attempts in GCC, in the Gulf, region. And we would welcome an opportunity to see more of this coordination here in Central Asia and the Caucasus, because this would help us, hyperscales, to scale here. And that's kind of but Google recommendation. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay.
And I'm happy to share, by the way, the link to this study and research, because it was actually done specifically as a tool for policymakers. So would be happy to share with anyone interested and looking into the results. It's actually pretty interesting.
Thanks, Olga. Others who have experience in other parts of the world, Yury mentioned it took 15 years to scale EPAM in Ukraine. What lessons can we extract from other areas that you're involved that could help us accelerate the growth here, so it won't take 15 years, but 5? Go ahead, Yury.
Okay, yeah, I just like a few more words, because I really think that in here we have already good cooperation between industry and government. This is very important, because when I kind of like remind my experience, we were typically growing not with help, but just without any help. And this took more time. But if guys understand here, and Kanish, big sense for this, that you're looking not only for export services, but for internal startups development, this culture. So I believe these kind of like accelerators which speed up much faster, because you can develop, when you have strategy, when you have kind of like clear vision, and you have some financial support or financial benefits, it's all grow faster. And from educational point of view, the great programs like was mentioned, or Tekarda, which also very good initiatives where kind of like young people, young talents can join industry faster with help of government. So I believe this is a big help, and it may provide faster. So my recommendation, look on a tighter cooperation with these accelerators, with startups, and develop both export-oriented service and internal product development and startups. And definitely use the proximity to new market in Asia, because it's also very well-growing countries, and you can find some benefits having cultural differences and understanding better this mentality and building better products and new and better services. So this, in my view, you don't need 15, 20 years. You can do this in 5 years and join companies like you see on the panel, like EPAM. We have offices in Karaganda, Astana, here in Malati. It's in other countries and other companies. This is a huge benefits for young talents which you have. So that's the recommendation from my side.
Excellent. Go ahead, Maxime.
Yeah, I fully agree with Yury. And here, I just wanted to add that Olga already mentioned that we are always talking about developing hard skills, but soft skills are also like a very important one. Here, I would like to say that Kazakhstan is already doing a really good job in scope of education, because, for example, in Nazarbayev University and so on and so forth. So, and what we can see that people are hungry to knowledge, yes, and people are not spoiled by social packages of IT companies. 2 days ago, I decided to check internal analytics regarding compensation reports, how people training inside of the company. And what we found that 70% of these requests are from Eurasia. So here is one more proof that in scope of education, I think it's only like going, and it will not take 15 years. It will take just 5.
Cool. Marvin, I'm going to give you the magic wand. What should be changed here so that it happens in 3 to 5 years? What should be changed so that the acceleration of this region being a major player in the global IT infrastructure?
That's a good question. I mean,
Try.
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, for us, right, if you actually look at the catalyst ultimately for most ecosystems, and you go back to Estonia, go back to Israel, go back to some of these other markets, it ultimately comes down to exits and exit potential. That's what I care about, right? I'm a cold-blooded capitalist, so I want to make money. And that's actually what attracts people. So for example, let's use the example of Estonia. Why is Estonia such a right place for startups? It's a right place for startups because you had Skype. Skype exited for, I think, a couple $100 million, almost $1 billion or something. The spin-outs that came from that, because people who've gone through that before, started their own companies. Now there's 12, 14 unicorns in a relatively small place, like 1 million. And so it's really understanding and knowing that this is possible, like breaking, everyone has a glass sort of like ceiling in your brain. And so that broke. I came from Canada, moving to Silicon Valley and seeing that actually happen. I'm like, wow, you actually can do very, very well. You actually can excel, and your limitations yourself, right? Not anyone else. Just understand that and see that happen in front of your face. I think it's like really important, right? Like seeing classmates be successful. That's actually really critical. So these examples, you need to have these examples that are rife in a place like San Francisco or New York. And I think we haven't really seen, we're starting to see that. We're starting to see sort of like inklings of that right now. Pine Melon, I know the founders there, they're friends of mine, they're super smart, right? They're on the track over there for that. Or even Clockster is another great example that was mentioned. And so I think that's happening already, but I don't know to the level
How do we speed it up?
Right? Yeah.
Am I allowed one more comment?
I'll go over, of course.
Thank you. So I know, Steve, that we agreed not to talk a lot about AI, but I think it would be a mistake not to mention AI in this context.
What's my next question?
Yeah, I just want to kind of, to maybe emphasize or highlight this aspect. Allow me to share one figure, $4.4 trillion US. That's McKinsey estimates how much generative AI, which is only like, one, let's say, corner of AI ecosystem, can add to the world economy. And that's the size of Germany economy today. So I think what is important for this region to embrace today, to see, results in 5 years, is really AI adoption. And I think that this region has a very good advantage that, for example, Europe does not have, which is young population. Driving AI adoption is essential to actually bridge the digital divide, bridge the divide in terms of economic development, welfare, productivity. If you spend enough time hanging out with economists, the only thing they have been talking about over the last 15 years is how productivity is not growing, how it's staggering. And right now we see that AI can actually change or reverse this trend. This is very important. So I think that one of the things that we need to maybe not to change, but to start doing more is a more concerted effort to drive AI adoption, to see a very different region in 5 years.
So let me...
Thank you.
Oh, go ahead, Marvin.
One quick thing actually came to me now. So, let me explain where I actually think the training, we talked about it with the minister, I think like yesterday afternoon. IT training is helpful, but I actually think like entrepreneurial training is actually really important, particularly at the earlier stage, because I actually think IT is great, right? Like, programming language, but if you believe in the sense of like low code, no code tools, AI, I mean, programmers are kind of like the new coal miners, right? It's an old article, but now you're actually seeing it kind of happen. And so if you have that entrepreneur mindset, you have tools now like Bubble, right? Like, so we talked about when I first did startups, $5 million to raise because you had to hire all these engineers and stuff. Then you had a whole bunch of new tools that went down to like $500,000. And my hypothesis now with a lot of the AI tools and low code, no code tools now, you probably need $50,000 to $100,000 to actually build a product. I don't know if anyone's used Bubble. Like, I'm not a strong technical person. I can build products like, at least initial prototypes in Bubble. It's very easy to use. Figma is very easy to use. So you're seeing this like democratization of the technology. So if you actually have that entrepreneur mindset, I'm starting to see a lot of interesting companies where it's like 1-person, 2-person companies, $1 million a year, just like bootstrapping, right? And using these tools and launching these tools.
And I can't help but recall your validation. Or are we going to be AI, ML architects and engineers? Very different paths. Maybe you're...
Yeah, let me start this because I believe there is no regional problems to develop AI. Right now, big companies like Alphabet, Olga is here, Amazon and OpenAI, they're struggling to compete with the open source small teams, which are doing very, very best ideas. Like on the Hugging Face, you can find some nice models which much smarter. So guys, it's not a problem for the region. I believe architects can be sitting in this room, in this audience, because it's open world. It's open source. It's all available. You can install this. It's definitely, you need a little bit technical skills. Probably we're not like the most guys doing this, but it's not a big problem to install on your own laptop and play with this. So AI, it's a huge opportunity for Central Asia and for all the world. So I really support this, Olga's ideas and you guys. So this is a new opportunity. You can try and do this. So it's my personal opinion.
For IT and technical development in general, where, and Maxim, I'd love to hear your point of view as well as everyone else's, where do you see this region competing with which other regions? Is it going to become another area for job shopping with no value judgment, or is it going to be full product stack development? What are you planning on building here, both Yury and Maxim?
So I think it depends on in which direction government want to go. Because if we are talking, for example, for full stack development, then we fully should be focused on talent development, and here we need such skills as hard skills, project management, development, and so on, because without that you will not be able to do that. And I think that here also one main point is about awareness of the country in scope of clients, because in here I think where like IT companies can help with to advertise and to explain also culture, yeah, because today was mentioned about importance of communication. So I think that it can go in various direction in job shopping or in full stack development. So I don't see any difficulties.
Just to add a few words, fully agree with Max that guys don't make mistakes we already did in some other countries. It's very easy to go to service business. It's kind of like you find talents, you find client, you connected them, you get money. But this is trap. Why? Because you're not developing what he said. You're not developing products. You're not developing mindset, entrepreneurship. It's more difficult. And why we did kind of like why we started fast, because definitely we go easy way, and education was technology most. There were no good entrepreneurship business courses in that time. Now it's already in place. Use it and make it balance between product, startup development and service. And it will be in any way interconnected, because services need some product management guys. And startups need some technology experienced architects to make your product real, operationable on a big scale. So, but balance, this is what you should target. This is much more winning strategy for new world.
Excellent, thank you. Kanish, thank you.
Yeah, and that was actually the question yesterday. Yeah, and that's very important, and I fully agree with Yury that there should be a balance. Kazakhstan, like Uzbekistan and other nations, are fast growing. We have around 500,000 newborns like every year. Uzbekistan has 1 million every year. So we also have to think about what we're going to do with younger generations. And of course, developing both sides, the innovation ecosystem in terms of growing the number of startups, products development, entrepreneurship, at the same time outsourcing and services are crucial. And again, we are talking about English language. The more we have people speaking freely in English, the more qualitative service would be here in Kazakhstan. And if AI will kill somehow partly this stuff, at least we will have free speaking English guys, so who can actually find the job somewhere. But so I think there should be a balance, and with the more focus on product development and startups ecosystem.
Excellent. So Anatoly, I'm going to put you on the spot. 5 years from now, I want this panel to reconvene here. So let's fast forward, and for each of you, 2 minutes. What is your wish that you'll be able to say about the Central Asian IT ecosystem in 5 years? Sveta.
Well, my personal wish and actually the view of HP, I believe we are correlating here. Really, Kazakhstan and Central Asia is one of the really high growth potential regions in the world. So I do believe with these young generations, with good education, good IT education that Kazakhstan is now investing quite a lot, we would see a lot of changes. And again, being based in Kazakhstan and traveling a lot, I can compare and I can confirm, and I'm really proud of it, that Kazakhstan in certain areas is really advanced and really ahead of not only neighboring countries, but other parts of the world as well. Name it electronic government. It's really cool stuff. Our e-finance, e-banking system, it's really great. What I wish to be changed is a bit of a mindset change, and I do hope that the new generation would really help with that. But what I mean, we are talking about AE and stuff, but we should really, sometimes we should fix the basics. And like, very short experiment, if you allow, with the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hand up if you're using at home as a private individual or in your office as a corporate, if you're using HP printer, put your hands up. Good. Second question, and please, I beg you, be honest. Now be honest. How many of you are 100% sure that you're always using original, you're laughing already, original cartridges for your HP printer? And we are having here very well educated and very advanced audience. And I must say that Kazakhstan is again even more advanced in our region, but we are having maximum, it's pain for me to say, maximum 40% of original cartridges sold. So guys, I do hope that before we go, I don't know, in higher spheres and talking about AE, etc., we'll fix the basics.
Thank you, Sveta. Yury, fast forward 5 years.
Yep. For me, it's much easier. I am technical guy, and so for me, numbers matter. So I want in 5 years in Kazakhstan to have hundreds, not one, but hundreds, thousands young talents in the industry. This is kind of like number one, what I really believe you can do and you should do. Definitely my colleagues sitting here in the room, so I tell them you have to have 10,000 people in a company, not less, across all the Kazakhstan. But it's not only about service business. You have to have some fast startups which already exited and created this kind of like boost additional. Without this, it won't be success. 100,000 developers, not enough to have success in 5 years. Like I fully support with Kanish, with Mao, that you have to have these startups. And last but not least, bring like image of the country on a global level through IT, through startups, and through government digitalization. Make it kind of spread across your neighbor's country and far. This is create kind of like the best picture in my mind in 5 years, and I hope still to be on the panel in 5 years and see that we did this.
Thanks, Yury. Maxim. Well, 5 years from now, we're going to give you more than 2 days' notice that you're on the panel.
Sure, sure. I would say that in 5 years, I see Kazakhstan as a skilled workforce country with a very high English proficiency level, of course. And today we didn't mention also about cybersecurity and intellectual property protection, because it's critical for some businesses. So, and of course, I'm sure that Kazakhstan should be globally recognized across clients, across local talents, and development of these local talents should be run by universities in cooperation with companies.
Excellent, thanks. Olga.
It's kind of boring and disappointing to speak almost last because some great ideas have been already stolen or announced. But I actually totally agree. I want to see Central Asia and Kazakhstan as an integral part of Central Asia, as an IT and talent hub for the entire world. And I think it's very, feasible. IT and AI, I would say, hub for the world. It is very visible. We're talking now about Estonia, right? That was not the case maybe 10 years ago. So yeah, I want to see Central Asia as a go-to market, in 5 years' time.
Excellent. Marvin, how many exits?
5 years from now, yeah. So I'm a numbers guy. Just comes down to lots of money, lots of wonderful exits, and lots of highly profitable global startups coming from this region. And being known as the land of IT, not the land of Borat. But it's true.
That would be a big plus.
Yeah.
Kindness, I'm going to let you close the session. Your dream, 5 years from now, what do we see here?
I hope that in 5 years, Kazakhstan would be the... we have this quote. It's not about only Kazakhstan, but the macro region itself. We have these natural prerequisites of this cultural ecosystem, which has 4 main letters. We call this region warm region, and it's not in terms of only hospitality, but it's an abbreviation, 4 letters. What they stand for. The first letter is W. It stands for Western Educated. So we have this Bolshak program. We send thousands best talents across the globe to the best universities. That connects us to the Western world, and I mean Europe and US. We have good networking. Second letter, A, it stands for Asian looking. So we look at our faces, we look alike with Chinese, with Korean, and other people. We have trust relationship with them. Third letter is R. So due to the fact that we are a post-Soviet Union country, we can speak Russian freely, and it's a good place for this Russian-speaking community to come and find a safe place to live and work. And the last letter, M, stands for multi. So it's a multi-confessional, multi-religious, multinational country where a lot of nations live together without any fight in the friendship. We have annual meeting every year with all religious leaders coming to Astana in our capital. So I wish to stay the same warm nation and across the globe to be kind of a Switzerland, without fighting, being friendly with everyone. And if we do so, then we will succeed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks to everyone. I really appreciate it. And I don't know where our MC is. There he is. So, Anatoly, thank you.